Are you still confused about the 227 Google search, how long to die in cold? A lot of people are. And what's unfortunate is the jury is going to be as well, because the prosecution experts will get up there and they're going to spin this wicked tale trying to convince you that it never existed. But it did. It did. And there's nothing they can say. If you apply just the right amount of logic to it, you'll see that it's impossible that it didn't. Now, for me, I'm the type of learner that I have to kind of dumb things down in order for them to like stick in my brain. So I'm going to do the same thing here for you. So if you're still confused, stick around and let's walk through this together. So let's start here. There are 3 main Google searches that are all linked together as part of the testimony. And these are kind of the ones that we argue about, right? So there's this one up at the top. It says Hoslong to die in cold that was time-stamped as having taken place at 2:27 a.m. It was also deleted when they extract the details. There's just shit you can't delete, people. Know that everything is there. Anyway, there's 2 others that they're trying to kind of tie into the timeline. It is how long Thai die in Kikid and then Hoslong to die in cold. These 2 are time-stamped at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m. Jen McCabe's story is that this one never took place and that these were done in the morning because Karen asked her to Google some information. Okay, that's the story. We all know that when you go to open anything on your phone, whether it's an app or you do a website or whatever you're opening, your phone's going to register that. So when you go to open Google to do a Google search, I 100% believe that it timestamps what time of day you were using that thing. So if I open Bank of America, my records would show that I went to the Bank of America app or I went to their website or whatever. It shows your activity. So I 100% believe that she was Googling at 2:27 in the morning. Now she says she was pulling up like these basketball scores and some other things. And those searches, I think, survived in the phone. Those didn't get deleted. Now, what their experts are trying to tell you is that when you open that page or you go open Google to do a search, at the time you open the search engine, the page, the app, whatever you want to call it, let's don't argue semantics, when you open it to do the search, it is at that time it registers the timestamp. So you open it, she's using Google at 2:27 a.m. And then all of those searches that you do in that time window are tied back to the time you opened the page. But their argument is if you don't close the app, then that time stays registered until you close the app. So if you don't close the app, and I also have an Apple phone, so you have a couple of ways, right? You go up to the corner and you hit the X and you X out of the app, or if you swipe up and it closes the app. They're saying she did neither of those activities. She left the app open kind of in the background of her phone, which is very possible. You can have a situation where you have multiple apps open in kind of this carousel, right? And then you can go through and go swipe, 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 and close them all out. But if you're just going from app to app to app and you're not closing anything, all of these would sort of remain in like an open sort of hibernation status behind the scenes. Now, and here is my Google page. So what they're saying is that if I went this very second and did a Google search on this open page, my Google search would register to the time that that page was originally open. So if this page had been open since last night, I could Google right now, and if you pulled my phone records, it would show me Googling last night. That's what they're trying to convince us of. Now, it's really convenient to say that in the Jen McCabe case, that search never took place. It was just tied to a different time that she was on Google. Convenient to get Jen McCabe out of trouble, but it's amazing how many other people are convicted based on their internet searches. Almost always. You've got somebody who's on trial for killing somebody and they're like, did you Google duct tape? Did you Google chloroform? Did you Google how to get rid of a body? And those Google searches are used to convict them. Because they say, well, you were Googling the day before. Well, how do they know that? How do they know that that app, you could keep your Google app open for a year and go back and put something in? And you mean to tell me that that search would register a year ago? We'd never convict anybody in this country. In fact, why even pull the records if they're not accurate? If you can use some bullshit excuse of, well, that page was open for 6 months and I just went back and used an old page. That is not how it works. And you cannot convince me otherwise. But let's put this into action so I can show you the absolute impossibility of this story. Okay. So according to the prosecution, Jen McCabe was on her phone Googling at 2:27, Googling basketball scores. Fine. She never Googled anything else. That deleted Google search, we don't know where that came from. She never Googled anything else, but she left the page open. So the next morning, when Jen is claiming that Karen told her to Google hypothermia, that's when Jen went in and typed Hoslong to dying cold. Why you wouldn't just Google hypothermia, I don't know, because it seems to me if you Googled hypothermia, you would get a whole list of things like symptoms of hypothermia, how to treat somebody with hypothermia, is hypothermia deadly? Like, it feels to me like if you just Googled that word, you'd get a lot more shit. But no, they're saying that that is when Jen McCabe typed Hoslong to die in snow, and that it happened to register at 2:27 because that is the Google page that she used. Let's pretend for a second that that happened. They're in the police car and claims that Karen told her Google hypothermia. Jen opens her phone, finds the Google page from the previous evening, the 2:27 Google page, types Hoslong to dying cold, and does a search. They're saying that search would be linked back to 2:27 because it was an old page. Then Jen would have had to have closed out of that page, so X'd or swiped out of that page, then opened a fresh page at 6:23 and typed how long tie-dye in Kikid. Then closed that search and physically X'd out or swiped and opened a third one at 6:24. In order for that one to register, that was another fresh page. In order for it to register, it'd have to be a new page. Then she typed Hoslong to dying cold. Now this one and that one match exactly. And I think why is because when she went to open the page, her search came up. And she saw that she'd put in this one, and then she saw she put in that one. So she was trying to find the one that would get her someplace. And so she clicked on it from the search menu from when she searched it the night before. That's what I think happened. But again, isn't the easiest thing to do here is to type hypothermia? Now, if it's true that it's perfectly innocent, and in the morning when she went to Google, she opened the old page and accidentally typed it on the 2:27 page by accident, and that's how it got registered at 2:27, then why would she delete it? Why would she manually go in and delete that Google search if it was true that it happened at 6:20 and just registered at 2:27? Why would she delete it? Don't believe them.